Things have certainly taken a turn for the worst, it seems. The house, once as silent as a grave, now seems to have come to life in anger and terror. Our two heroes have begun to descend down to the depths of this house. They're not even sure why, but there must be a reason. The spirit they've been speaking with, it told them to come here, it has told them to do this. For now, though, they are simply running down a strange dark cavern. From behind, you can hear the sounds of battle. The Foxgrove twins are certainly holding back a number of creatures. What are you two doing?
I'm continuing. We need to find something. I'm starting to doubt that there will even be anything here. Haven't we just walked down into trap? I begin to lose hope. And you probably noticed that, Bax.
I am proceeding at a brisk pace, not running, but with the help of the light cantrip of altos. At least we can watch where we put our steps. I'm looking around expectantly, surprised that we are taken from the mansion that seemed to hold such significance. Where is this? What is down here?
As you continue, you finally begin to come to some sort of cavern. Nothing, however, is natural about this place. After all, you see a strange amber light glowing from somewhere. As you step forwards, you see something very strange indeed. The walls are filled with petrified figures lying trapped, their faces contorted in terror. Deeper than that, there's a slight crater in this cavern which seems to be filled with inky black muck. From the centre of this pit rises a jagged amber monolith. The glow is coming from that. And within this strange monolith, you think you can see something moving. What do you do as you find yourself in this place? You notice, Alto, that those things trapped in the wall are slowly moving back and forth, countless bodies screaming, wailing in torment.
It must have something to do with that. Maybe it's all emanating from this. Maybe this is the source of it all. Maybe we could destroy it.
Yes, looks like some sorts of nexus. Have you ever seen something like this?
Have I?
No, you have not. This is quite beyond your experience. Again, the house is shaking above from somewhere. And then, Alto, you realize you're not alone. Just before this black inky pool, before this strange monolith, is a figure. They are facing away from you. They have long, black flowing hair, and they seem to be dressed in some sort of armor, you think to yourself. So finally you have come. You took your time, didn't you?
Are you the ones we have been communing with?
Indeed. You've done well. You have proven yourselves valiant souls.
Well, it's hard to say when we don't know if the spirits we have punished have committed crimes or been the one that have been affronted. No offense.
What does that matter? You fought, and in doing so, triumphed. It likes souls like yours, most of all.
We just want to get out of here. How can we get out of here? How can we get back home?
Oh, very easily, my dear. Die. Die here now, and let me finally be free of this place. The woman turns to face you, beginning to float in the air. Her face is a rotten carcass, a screaming, emaciated face. Her hair begins to fly in all directions as she wails at you.
She's attacking.
Let us roll initiative.
7.
8.
As this being rushes towards you, Alto, you see before you this hideous countenance. It is almost enough to make you turn and run, but there is no time. She draws a blade of darkness from her belt and swings it across your face. However, you manage to step back, perhaps so surprised by this sudden assault that you are able to dodge. Bex! This thing is quite formidable, and as you are looking at it, you then also notice there is movement coming from the pool. Something is beginning to move underneath all that black ink. But then you feel something. Your necklace. It's starting to glow. How can this be? There was no magic on it. You think to yourself. What do you do?
I think to myself that it must be connected to some sort of religion. I try to feel if there's some way I can enhance that power. I try if I can channel anything through this necklace.
Roll an Arcana check.
16s.
Well, you think to yourself, magical items, don't you normally just... Well, sometimes you need to attune to them, but sometimes you can just activate them by just letting them do their thing, like pointing them at something, or saying something. Maybe that will do something.
I'm doing that. I don't know the divinity or whatever being it might be that's associated with this. I don't have a name, so I'd like to see if I can listen for it. I try to hold it up and towards the shadow, the mire, the pool that is reacting to it.
You hold up the amulet and it begins to glow, a bright blue glow, shining out and filling this room with light. The being hisses in anger and shrieks, trying to cover its face as it backs off from Alto. The thing in the pool also begins to bubble violently at what you're doing. This is your action, but you can still move.
I move towards the pool, see what it is that's moving there.
And as you do so, you see emerging from beneath long black tendrils of darkness. They emerge from the pool and begin thrashing around violently, trying to aim for you. But it's the end of your turn. Alto, what do you do? Beck suddenly has something... the necklace, it's glowing, it's doing something. What do you do?
I unleash my magic missiles on the creature. I'm hoping to buy him time.
Roll your damage.
13.
You begin pelting this being with magical missiles. It howls in frustration, each impact causing it to shake a little, even though it is insubstantial. You are definitely damaging the being. The being itself, for now, simply wails in frustration, trying to shield itself from the light coming from Bex. But, Bex, these tendrils are not so dissuaded, as they do try and hit you, but it does seem as if the light is giving them trouble. 2 of these large tendrils of shadow miss you entirely, trying to hit you, but the amulet is holding them back. Unfortunately, the other 2 manage to strike you down, causing you to fall to the ground. Take 9 damage, and then 9 damage again.
The breath is taken out of me as these tendrils hammer me down.
You also take 6 strength damage. Something is being sapped from you, as if your very essence is being taken when these things hit you. So make a note that your strength score has gone down by 6. Still, it is your turn. What do you do?
I'm trying to roll away now from the pool, trying to stumble back as I am taking out from a small pouch a small bead formed from pine tar, niter, and sulfur, and I ignite it, casting the spell Melf's Minute Meteors. I'm creating 6 tiny meteors around me, erupting from this bead. They float around me and orbit me, and I start sending them off towards the tentacle. I can throw 2, and they'll explode, doing 2d6 damage on failed saving throws and half otherwise. Dex 14.
You cast your spell as these great magical meteorites begin floating around you. You are able to wield them as you wish, and the amulet is still glowing, by the way. Tell me where you target them, and then roll your damage.
I will target one of them towards the tentacles and another towards the floating being. The tentacles will take 7 damage unless they manage. The being will take 4 damage unless they manage to avoid.
You begin firing these meteors. One of them strikes down hard into the pool, spilling black muck everywhere and igniting these tentacles. They writhe in, you assume, torment. They don't really make any sound. Unfortunately, the being, on the other hand, simply dodges out of the way, taking very minimal damage, you think. It seems very irritated, though, as it's trying to come towards you, even though it's still shielding its face from this glowing white light from your amulet.
Begone, Lady Sylvester, we will not serve you or your masters and mistresses.
I care not that intruders serve me. I simply wish for you to die. Die! Die so I can be free!
Our souls are ours, not yours.
Alto, it is your turn. What do you do?
I continue attacking the lady.
With magic missile?
Indeed.
Roll damage.
8.
And again, you continue firing missile after missile into this being. It is starting to bleed a strange black blood, but this woman, this warrior, this maybe isn't the most effective thing. You think to yourself, this must be far more powerful than the beings you have faced before. Still, it is something, right?
I just hope that it will buy time for Bex to do whatever he can with that amulet.
The being screeches once more, trying to lunge towards you, Bex, but again, the light of the amulet just forces her back. It is your turn again. What do you do?
I look at the center of the room. Was it a big pillar in the middle of it? Does it seem to hold significance?
You have no idea. It looks very large and intimidating. You can see something from within moving, and you hear a dull laugh coming from it. As you look, time slows for a moment, and you hear a voice coming from this pillar. It's speaking to you. Do not resist, Bex. I will grant you all you wish. All the knowledge will be yours. Do not resist.
I form up an ice knife on the second level in my hand and I throw it towards the pillar.
Roll your attack.
25s.
Roll damage.
9 piercing. And as it explodes, 14 ice damage.
You throw your ice dagger through the air. It hits this pillar. It explodes in a brilliant blue light, causing a large crack to appear within the pillar itself. The crack spreads quite significantly. You feel the voice in your head remark, "Now, Bex, how rude." What do you do?
Letting out a pained laughter because I'm hurting quite badly. Staggering up, I release 2 more of the meteors towards this pillar now.
Roll that damage.
The first one hits 6, the second one hits 10.
Your meteors strike hard at this pillar again. Large chunks of it begin flying off. You have done significant damage to this pillar, you think, and yet it's still not quite enough. As you're thinking that, Alto, it is your turn. What do? You see Beck suddenly just unleashing a barrage of meteors and ice daggers on this pillar. He definitely seems to be damaging it, but it is quite a formidable structure. What do? Again, you see the being trying to come towards you now, starting to edge closer. She seems to be getting used to the light, at least partially.
We have to destroy this pillar. I move closer to it and I unleash burning hands, unleashing fire upon it, trying to destroy it that way.
As you ignite this pillar, roll your damage.
12.
You begin setting fire to the pillar, and it burns. Again, more and more of it's beginning to fall away. You see the thing inside beginning to move rather violently as these strange black tentacles thrash about. What else do you do, Alto?
I try to move away from this thing that's approaching me. I don't want to be caught by it. I don't think I could even take one hit from it.
In that case, you back off, backing away as far as you can from this being. It's at this point, then, that you notice the tentacles begin to thrash out. You notice also that some of them perhaps were looking to you, but you move away. You, Bex, are not quite so lucky, as it seems now all their attention is upon you. However, your amulet begins to glow even brighter as these tentacles just can't hit you. They try, but it's almost as if they are blinded, even though they can't even see. You think to yourself, you manage to dodge every single one of these things as they just flail about.
I'm just screaming out as I'm continuing to barrage this structure, trying to bring down whatever masters hold sway over this place.
And as you're doing this, you just notice that finally the woman has come before you. She removes her hand. Her face for a moment seems as if it is burning, but she no longer seems to care. She yells, "I am the lady of the house, and this is my domain! No intruders will ever claim it! Never!" And she lets out a hideous, ear-piercing wail. The entire room shakes with the force of this hideous scream. Your ears for a moment are filled with nothing but noise and pain. Both of you must roll a Constitution saving throw.
That is 3.
18.
Alto, the world is nothing but pain. Pain. Your eardrums burst. You are reduced to 0 hit points as you begin to fall. What do you do as this happens?
I just cover my ears and I fall to my knees, and I suppose things become darker and darker.
Bex, you too feel your eardrums burst. Your very soul is on fire. You are falling as well, and yet, somehow, you think you can remain standing just a little longer. It is your turn. What do you do?
I'm trying to distract her. I'm trying to flings fire at hers as I let go the 2 final meteors towards the structures.
Roll your damage.
7 plus 9, 16.
You unleash the last of your meteors. They explode in front of you, this pillar shattering completely, falling away as you fall. As you do so, you see the being just looking over you for a moment. It smirks and nods, saying, and you're not sure how you can hear this because you're pretty sure you are now deaf, at least you think you are. Well, unexpected. That in itself is amusing. I guess maybe we'll let some of you go. She smiles as your vision begins to blur. Could you both, at this point, make me death saving throws?
2.
13.
Alto, the room is shaking. Something is screaming. You kind of are able to move, though. It hurts. Moving hurts a lot. But you think you can still move a little. Make me another death saving throw yourself, Alto.
15.
You're staggering up. You're standing. You can see Bex. They're starting to be dragged. The tentacles, they're still there. Just dragging Bex down. Bex, could you make me a death saving throw?
It's another failure. I look at you, Altos. I look at you as I'm being dragged. Everything seeped from my bodies. I'm blinking. There's blood running from my mouth as I'm saying, I got it, Altos. I got it. I destroyed it.
You did. I try to help you up.
Alto, that is going to be difficult. You, in your mind, just see yourself walking forward and going to help him, but it hurts so much. You can kind of dimly hear above voices. The twins, they're coming, but everything is beginning to shake. The debris is beginning to fall from the ceiling. You can certainly try to help Bex, but it will require a roll. What do?
I do. I have to help him.
Make me a Constitution saving throw.
16.
You begin bleeding heavily from the mouth, but you go forward and you grab him. You grab Bex. Bex, make another death saving throw.
This time I succeed. 18.
Bex, you're kind of awake. You think someone's grabbing your hand. You're being dragged down heavily. At this point, Alto, one more saving throw for you of death.
This time I roll an 8.
Alto, you manage to grab Bex's hand, but then the pain, so much pain. Bex, what do? You think he's trying to pull you up, and you're kind of just yourself on the verge of death. This is death. But you could do something, or not. What will you try and do, Bex?
I'm trying to cast something, but my hands won't move. I see him coming to help. I'm trying to struggle against it. Maybe I don't have to die.
Roll me a Constitution saving throw.
14.
It's so hard, Bex. It's so hard. You really are trying, though. But you must make one more death saving throw.
And it's another success. 15.
Somehow, you are remaining conscious. Alto, Bex he's alive. You think he's alive. He's reaching. He's trying to reach for you. It hurts you as well. But what do? You have him by the hand. What do?
I try to lift him up, and I try to get up, try to move towards the voices.
Make a strength check.
1.
You try and move, but you can't. You suddenly feel the black tendrils are beginning to pull you down as well. They've latched onto your arm. You can maybe try and get away, but another death saving throw.
11.
You fall back. You scramble, but you can't. You lose your grip. Bex is gone. He's out of your grip. You on the ground yourself, still alive, barely, but you've lost your grip. Bex, he's dropped you. He's dropped you. You're falling. What do?
No, don't drop me, Altos. Seize me, Altos. I struggle against them. They're wrapped around my legs, my arms, my fingers. They won't move.
Make a strength saving throw.
And I'm sapped. 5.
Your strength fails you, Bex. You hear a voice. Why resist? Make a death saving throw.
And with 2 failures and 2 successes, this is what determines it.
Yes.
10.
Tell me how somehow you managed to just about pull yourself free.
Not yet. Not yet. Sparks fly as I'm flexing my fingers. I'm not able to conjure forth the simplest of cantrips or fireballs, but they're there in my hands as they slap away. It's like my whole body catches small bits of flames, like the whirling dust around me. It has tiny flecks of ignition from the previous whirl of the meteors. I'm struggling to reach out into my pouch to get out one more of my beads to ignite. It won't, but sparks fly, and somehow the tendrils, I kicked loose of them.
And you too. And you force your way out of the muck, and they fall away. The tendrils fall away as you just come back onto the shore and collapse to the ground. Alto, everything is beginning to fall down, but Bex is fine. He's made it, you think. You can barely move yourself, but he's made it, and you stagger up, and that's when you see the 2 twins just charging down the stairs, charging towards you. What do?
I moved to him. Come on. Let's get out of here.
I'm coughing up blood and what looks like black sludge. I getting up on all fours and I try crawling, getting up almost on my legs with the help of Altos. Yes, let's go. I feel like I'm fading. I just want to lie down. The rest is so close. Just want to lie down and be warm.
And you fall. But stronger arms than yours pick you up, Bex, as you lose consciousness. Alto, on the other hand, you are able to see this happen and you try and grab him, but you have no strength left. You cannot help Bex anymore. But that's fine, because someone else has grabbed you and is helping you. And you see, and you're being pulled up the strange stairs. You're being pulled up, and what do? Where do you look? You don't really think you have much energy left, but you can still look at things.
I might try to see who it is that's grabbed me. Is it the twins?
Jennifer is looking at you, a bit cut on her forehead, but smiling. However, all around you, things are collapsing, rocks are falling. How are you feeling?
Good. I suppose we survived. For now, at least. Perhaps there's still hope. Perhaps we can still get out of here.
Everything that happens next is a bit of a blur for you, Alto. You are being pulled up, and again the walls are screaming, and there is so much movement, but you're being moved forwards, and you're up, and you're in the upper floor, and then you land hard, and you're outside. You're facing grass. Again, you can kind of move a little, but it hurts. Everything hurts an awful lot. Someone is saying something and starting to push something to your throat. What do you do?
I accept it. I hope it will heal my wounds.
It is something that helps. It feels good. You drink something. You recover 6 hit points as you feel some of the wounds and some of the pain beginning to recede a little. Bex, everything was black for a moment, but you then also sort of just regained consciousness. What do you do?
I cackles a hoarse laughter. And that's all that comes out from me. It's all a miracle that I made it out as souls. I was so close. I'm still so close.
And both of you are able to tilt your heads to see that you're being dragged away from the house. The house. A great roar comes from the house. Strange blue, green, red lights begin to flash from inside. And the whole house and the tower begins just descending rapidly suddenly, the very building itself beginning to compact and crush in on itself as hideous wails and moans echo all around you. And then a great wind blows. It's been raining as well, you realize. A storm has been raining around you this whole time, the lightning in the sky illuminating everything for a moment. Before then, mist and more mist, and then everything is quiet. And there's just the sound of the wind and the rain falling gently on you. Again, you also feel something being shoved in your face, Bex. Someone's trying to get you to drink something. What do you do?
I have no strength to resist, but I think I am conscious enough to realize that they're trying to help. They dragged me out, yes. I'm eagerly gulping down whatever they are feeding me.
And you heal 6 health points as some of your wounds, some of them at least, begin closing. And both of you are now by the roadside, and for a moment both of you lose consciousness. You awaken sometime later, you think. You're by a campfire. It's still very dark around you, the moon shining high in the sky. You've both been bandaged, you quickly notice, in several areas. But you're both feeling a bit better. You've recovered another 10 hit points, you think. You've been healed. Jennifer is looking over you both with a look of concern on her face, and Laurie is standing near the caravan, looking at the sky. Alto, what do? You think you're alive.
How do we get out of here? We have to go back. I have to go back home.
Jennifer puts a finger on your lips. Shh, calm yourself. Calm yourself. You're lucky, you're alright though, you're going to be alright. I've managed to, with the potions, heal most of the damage, but that was a very close one. Well done, you two, well done. I don't know if we'd have been able to handle that if you hadn't done what you did.
I start patting down my chest. I'm feeling for the amulet.
Yes, you have an amulet on you.
It's this helped. I try to push myself up on my elbows and hold it up. Does this mean something to you?
Laurie leans down and squints at the amulet, nodding a little. Again, they both seem in much better shape than you. A few scratches, but that's it. Ah, yes. The mark of the raven. Of the keepers of the feather. I think that's what they're called. They're an order of, interesting folk. A very good find. Yes, this definitely would have given you some aid. Well done.
It shone with a light blue light. I don't know what we did, Saltos. I don't know what we did. There was a pillar, and Lady Silveras, I think, was theirs, and we destroyed the pillars. There was a voice from it. I don't know what we did.
We survived. That's what we did. That's all that matters.
Jennifer nods, saying, and also you destroyed something. I don't know what it was, but it was clearly a great evil, and it obviously threw the whole house off balance. You'll see for yourself. And she gestures. And if you looked, you would see. The house is gone. The tower is gone. You are now simply in a little open area of forest.
Yes. I roll over to watch, to look at their remains, the house. Nothingness.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothings. And I think to myself that this is strangely unsatisfying. I don't know what it was I did. I look back at the twins and altos and I say, we destroyed. Yes. These things you were fighting, they looked like peoples without bones, yes?
Laurie nods. Yes, I forget what they're called. Some sort of undead abomination. You know, they all blur together after a time. But well done. No, again, you must have been able to tap into the power of the mark. Again, the keepers of the feather are known for fighting evil in these lands. They don't come from here, of course, but we've met them before. It must have been... Where did you find the amulet?
I finger it thoughtfully as I'm thinking, keepers of the feathers. And then I come to it. Yes, I found it around the neck of a dead woman's. She was sitting with a book of lullabies. The name Theodoras was in the book.
Laurie nods slowly. The lady of the house. She must have been a believer. Makes sense. She was clearly a little bit of a dabbler of the occult. She was... Well, someone in the house believed in Ezra as well. She clearly had done many things to try and protect her household from dark forces. Sadly, it doesn't seem as if it was enough.
Maybe she was connected to them then, the keepers.
Laurie shrugs. Maybe. I don't think we'll ever know.
See that, Altos? We destroyed it.
Yes. We seem to know how to destroy things, at least.
Yes, we do. You destroyed. You threw your missiles. You are the missile man. You kept her away from me. I could destroy the pillars. Yes. All those people put inside the walls, yes, to be sacrificed to it. And put down in a pool of tentacles and put inside offerings to these beings, yes? That makes sense.
Roll an insight check, Alto.
13.
You think to yourself, Alto, is that what's happening here? People were being sacrificed to something in the basement? But that doesn't seem to you... That's not what you saw in any of your dreams. But again, this is all rather strange, and who knows, maybe it's not that important.
No, it's not. I just want to forget the whole thing. I just want to forget the whole thing and get back to my mistress. Get back with what I learned in Candlekeep. I don't want to be here anymore.
What do you two do? You are lying in the middle of the night by a campfire, feeling better, although you still will need a proper night's rest at some point.
Where will you go now, Slories, Jennifers?
Well, obviously we're going to take you to where we said we were going to take you. Mordenshire. Hopefully there we'll be able to find someone who can give you some assistance. Possibly. I'm starting to wonder if you're actually from around any of these parts. And if that's the case, you might need something a bit more complicated to get you back. Possibly a certain talisman. You might be able to find one in Mordenshire, but it might be tricky. But again, we're happy to help. Again, we're in your debt. You definitely gave us a hand there. I have a feeling... Well, what was it you said, Jennifer? Yes, well, I was saying... I think we had a theory that the whole house wasn't part of this domain, but another. Just a small one, maybe. After all, the way it's vanished, it's like it was never here. So thank you. This could have been very dangerous to travellers in this region, at least.
This is what you said, yes? The house comes and goes.
Well, yes. Or rather, the ground the house was on. The Halverists built it, and then they vanished too. Seems to have happened again.
Well, we solved the mysteries, yes? You agree with my theory, yes, Altos?
Sure.
Good. And I lay down again and I look up at the mists, not seeing much else, and I get ready to have a rest, at least, before we move on then to Mordenshire.
You feel yourselves being picked up a little and placed into the caravan. It's a bit cramped, but there is bedding in here, and you are both given some food, and will hopefully be getting a bit of rest at least for a few minutes. You see Laurie looking at you, Bex, and sort of saying, yes, sacrificed. I don't really see... Well, maybe you're right, I don't know. And Jennifer just sort of shakes her head a little, and moves to the front of the wagon. What do you do, Alto? You are awake, tired now, but yes, it's still night, and you're still not home. What are you thinking and doing?
I will get home, but it might take some time. I should rest up. Save my energy. Tomorrow I'll get back home. And I close my eyes. I try to sleep.
Bex, what do you do?
I'm looking out the window of the caravan, trying to see what passes by as I hum a bit to myself. I pat myself down. Did I manage to stow that book of nursery rhymes away somewhere?
You certainly did.
I take it out. I look it through idly, turning pages, humming little rhymes to myself as I'm lulling myself back to sleep.
As you do so, just before you fall asleep yourself, you notice there's something on the last page. There's a little picture of a man wearing a little skull helmet, standing next to a woman. And there's just a little message written. We let you go. It's not going to end. It never will. How do you respond to that?
At first, I'm just idly reading it as it's there. Then something about it grabs a hold of me. And I again prop myself up on the elbows. In the faint light, I read it again. And I look at them looking at me. Who was that man? Who was that man? What really happens? What really happens?
The wagon begins to then move quite violently, but it's all right. You hear from outside Jennifer and Laurie are on the front moving the horses, saying, "Don't worry, by the way, a little bit of trouble on the way, but again, don't worry, if we keep riding quick, it'll be fine, so don't worry, again, don't worry." The wagon begins moving quite violently down a road now. What do you do, Bex? Suddenly the wagon is moving around a little bit uncomfortably.
I sit up. I put the booker to the side. And I try to listen. Do I hear something else moving around the wagons?
You do. The wagon is moving quite fast, you can feel it. And if you look out the window, you can see suddenly there's something at the window. A strange figure. Emaciated, reddish eyes. They're clawing at the window, but then they're gone. They're gone because the wagon is moving very quickly. What do you do?
Altos, they're still coming.
Also, you are stirred from your sleep and awake, and yes, you're in a wagon and it's moving very quickly and violently down the road. What do you do?
What's going on?
What are these? What are these?
You hear a laugh from the front of the wagon as Laurie says, "Oh, don't worry, just some spectres. Don't worry, they can't touch us. It's fine. Mooring shear will be half an hour. Sorry for the bumpy ride. Try and rest." And then you hear a bit of an explosion outside as something on the left flashes a little, and Jennifer says, Don't worry, I got that one." What do you do, Alto? Do you look out the window?
I do look out. What do I see?
All around you are floating spectres trying to attack the wagon, flying through the air, strange men and women, their faces tormented and twisted, various wounds of death upon them. They are flying again, and one of them tries to just leap at the window and claw at you.
I get down, trying to hide away from it.
And you do so, and you hear the glass crack a little, but then it's gone. And again, the carriage just rides into the night. What are you thinking to yourself, Alto? It seems home is not quite around the corner just yet.
No. I'll have to earn it. But we will get back. We have to.
Bex, what are you thinking as you are in this wagon, going down a road very fast, surrounded by countless spectres?
I don't know if I am to laugh or not. It's mania. But then that feeling hits me again. The feeling of how they talked, the twins, when we first arrived here. Yes, they were talking about things so lightly, things that were out of our worlds, so different from ours. Perhaps this is just normal, everyday life to them. And I'd look out at the cloud of spectres moving, circling about, and I listen to the commentary of the twins, see the flashes and the occasional bursts of laughter, and I smile to myself. It's not a happy smile, it's a very nervous smile, and yet here we are, tumbling down this road towards our next adventures.
And the caravan moves swiftly through the night, pursued by these beings. You think to yourself both, if you were not in the wagon, you definitely would not have been able to withstand this assault. And yet, for now, it seems you are safe. Safe in a land of the dead. The carriage moves on in the night. Beneath the eyes of these spectres lies something watching your caravan, watching the pair of you. How very interesting they are. Magic users. Yes, they will be useful. I will have them. But not yet. Somewhere on a dark road, 2 travelers are trying to find shelter for the night. It is a dangerous place where they are, but they think they'll be all right. They see something ahead. A house. Wonderful. That will surely be an adequate shelter, and they begin moving towards it. From the windows, several figures are watching. None of them can ever be free. None of them can ever escape. Deep below, a being is irritated. It hurts when its home is destroyed, but it's only a temporary thing. It will always come back. On the upper landing, a man with a skull helmet looks on, laughing to himself. He doesn't mind being in this tomb. After all, he helped make it. And finally, a family. A husband, a wife, their children. She's glad those people got away. She was able to help them. This time, she doesn't know if she'll be able to help these people again, but she will try. She'll try her best. A figure watches from the tower. The lady of the house. Maybe this time these souls will be enough to get her an escape. She doesn't mind when the being is killed. That is amusing in a way, but really, she longs for release. But maybe that's not to be. This was her home after all, taken by invaders, handed to them by the betrayers. She asked for all this, didn't she? She can't really remember anymore. All she knows is that she will never be free, no matter how much she laments.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we played House of Lament from Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. The music was created by Metatron Omega, Wordclock, and Flowers for Body Snatchers, and was used with permission from their label, Cryochamber. Check them out at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for more music for your table. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Nastasia Raulerson, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, Camilla, Ludwig Manford, and Bob Lange for their generous support. And we would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult Divinity Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. And remember, dread awaits beyond the mists.